That's why you're blocked. Blocked.
That's why you're blocked. You're listening to That's Why You're Blocked podcast.
We're live. Hello, welcome back to That's Why You're Blocked podcast. I am Carson Bailey.
And I'm Chanel Schatz. And we're not going to go back and forth about how we're Dead P podcast hosts today. Today we're just going to jump right into it with some thank yous. Just for you all listening to the episodes that we have already done, we're starting to receive some opportunities based on them, and that's very exciting. So be on the lookout for updates soon regarding any opportunities and updates. And
thank you. Yeah, just a big old round of applause.
Okay, so how have you been? Last time we recorded, it's been at least 2 months, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Still tired. Still poor. Still fighting for my life against some little Negroes I can't really spell. Like, niggas will curse you out and call you all these names, but, like, they can't spell any of it. They have all this mouth, but, like, why your S is backwards?
Not the S.
It is. It just be driving me insane.
Not the S looking like a 5.
I was like, yeah, it's bad, but almost okay. I got some exciting things coming up, so it's definitely something to look forward to. What about you? How have you been?
What exciting things do you have coming up? You want to share? If you don't like the way it sounds, you can always bleep it out.
I don't know. I don't want to jinx it.
That's fair enough. Okay.
Yeah. Well, let me not say that. But I'm thinking of changing locations potentially.
Wow, that's gonna be big. That's gonna be different.
So, what about you?
Let's see. Right now it is March. You all should hear this in March. I think so. Yeah. So it's March. So as we stated before, we both work in education. So it's coming up on the end of the school year, and I'm thinking about making moves about what I want to do next.
Yeah, it's like 52 days left.
She's counting down. I'm not even on that level. I'm counting down to spring break right now. It's about 2 weeks until spring break.
6 or 7 school days? It's like, wait, no, it's like 12.
She is done. She is the done. Well, I be taking off. She don't be taking off as much. I be taking off. So maybe lately I just haven't been.
She has her mental health days.
At first I was only taking 1, y'all. Public service announcement. Take your days. That building, that office runs fine without you. Take your days.
They ran before you, they'll run after you. That part is true.
I started taking 1 because my first year in education, I was horrible. Like, anytime I didn't feel like going, I just didn't go. And it actually looks really bad, of course, obviously. But it was very stressful. But this year, I feel like I kind of got a good strategic, way of doing it once a month. But now, it's kind of like the end of the school year. I need 2 a month. I take them very nice, very religiously. But I've been thinking about what I want to do next. I've kind of already got something in the works now for that. And I will also be sharing that later. Not like I don't want to jinx it. It's just something, of course, that's not official yet. But I probably will be working in the fall. I know I said I probably wasn't going to, but I probably will be. If not, at least something part-time. Got bills to pay.
Mm-hmm.
How about, are there any updates with you in dating or niggas in general?
Not really.
Okay.
I ain't got none.
Okay.
Yeah, it is what it is.
You don't like nobody?
Not really.
Okay. All right, fair
What
enough.
about you?
Go
ahead and lie.
I've been talking to someone more consistently lately, and it's been nice.
Mm-hmm. Talking. Is that what the kids call it nowadays?
It's been nice. It's been nice. I think that is what the kids are calling it these days.
All right. Well, let you live.
I mean, it ain't like you too far off from like the talking activities around this time yourself. Like, I don't.
You are doing like the recommended weekly allowance of exercise. I might like talk once or twice within
A
like
week?
no.
Girl.
I trust
Girl.
me. It is not that often.
Girl.
I know. Everybody around me knows because like
Everyone around me knows.
like you're in a much better space. Happy, glowy. Yeah, you are getting your recommended daily amount. If not, every other day. So don't play with me.
Every other day is a stretch. Like that.
Okay, don't go. It's not more than 2 days.
All right. I'm enjoying company and I'm enjoying time with someone lately, consistently talking. And we're going to go ahead and move on to the shit that comes through our social media. If there are updates on that situation, I will update the fans, of course, accordingly. But that's it for right now. So the shit that comes through our social media, I came across a thread on Twitter, or I guess, when something is on Twitter, it's on everywhere, makes it to Instagram and TikTok. And it was talking about the different men that you would not date based on professional, based on like what they do for a living, and not like money wise, just based on like, I feel like men who work in this industry or men who have this type of job just ain't shit. So a lot of women had these lists. Do you have a list of like?
But I want to hear your list first.
Okay, what are we doing? Top 3 or top 5?
Whichever.
All right. It's not like I wouldn't, but it's definitely, I am very leery of black men who work in education. That's number 1. Number 1. Let's see.
Why? And I'm only.
How much time do we have?
I'm just fucking with you.
How much time do we have? But the short of it is, I feel like black men who work in education know that they are the fucking prize because it's not that many of them. It's 2%. And from what I experience in my building and just like hearing other people who work in education, it's always been like this. They walk around, or they get to walk around like acting single if they're not, being flirtatious, just on different floors. And it's,
girl, it'd be the same flow, the same
which
sharing a
is even
fucking
more
hallway.
disgusting. But for me, I don't come to work to have like fun. I guess I don't come to work looking for that. And it seems like black men in education, not all of y'all, but like it seems like that's a thing. Like these niggas be having a ball.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so that's number 1.
Okay.
Number 2, trainers. I just personally feel like, I don't know. I feel like you get my body right just to smash. Something about it to me, it's just,
okay.
I couldn't do no trainers. The trainers at my gym, the men who work at my gym, like, well, I do get a lower rate now, but they are very flirtatious, like extremely. And I'm just like, And I've seen them do it like multiple women. I'm like, yeah, I'm right. I'm right. And number 3, this is the new one. And I may have to share the story, but this is a new one. T-Mobile Associates.
That's a very specific.
T-Mobile General Managers and Associates.
LMAO. Can I drink that?
I'm good.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So that's my top 3. How about you?
All right. First, police,
Really?
military men.
Oh, dang, I forgot military.
Yeah,
But
I put
do a top 3.
police, military men. They're kind of like the same, and it's mostly because, well, police. I feel like one, I can't date no ops, but like the conversation I've had and people I've talked to who are police, they're very much in like, I don't want to say it's like a brainwashing cult, but it's very much when they talk, it's like them versus us as civilians. In a lot of situations. And also I feel like those men are a little just more prone to like domestic violence, like studies show.
Really? That's interesting. How many police officers have you talked to or dated?
Like to.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, like, it's just when you look at statistics like that, like most police officers and like, there's a lot of domestic violence within that system, the good old boys and all that. No. Military men, I don't want to say they're more prone to violence, but it's also in that same, like, you do a lot, like you live a very a lot of PTSD, and I feel like with your partner having all of that is not something that I would want to, emotionally carry that load with you.
And that's very fair. Very, very fair.
And also, like I said, I don't know. The military, man, also, I'm like, if I ain't never, ever gonna see you because you gone for months at a time.
You know he's cheating. Military people.
Oh, I mean, not even that.
Military people in general are just known to cheat.
It's just, I don't know. Because most people have you met a happily married military family?
No.
That's black?
No. And I feel like I'm personally traumatized by like military and Navy men in general. When I was in undergrad, I lived in Norfolk, and I had never met so many like 21 and under married people. And it was like ridiculous. And
see, with the thing though with military, that I don't mind being somebody's second wife if you've like learned from your mistakes. So like they can get it out the way young and then still have like a good chance. Like the marrying young, I don't know, it's the textile love, but it's to me more of the like the other emotional baggage that comes with that. Like you kill people for a living.
Yeah.
And like in the low key hippie that I am.
Are you a low key hippie though?
High key. Like I don't believe like people should have guns and bear arms. Like when you think of war, what is the point? It's over money. It's capitalism. And like understanding that
there
you're
are
a rat.
other parts of the military.
Yeah, I mean, but like, it's all. What are you trying to say? Are you talking about like Air Force and shit like that? I mean, like,
I'm saying like I know people who work in the work for the military, work in the military that don't
they
don't even get the training for that.
No,
like,
but what I'm just saying is just
in the military.
Yeah, and that is true. But I'm just saying it's just that whole idea of the military.
I get it. I don't necessarily like war either.
And so like
No, I get it.
They, to me, also have that same kind of us versus them mindset when you talk to them. And then it's like, they basically solicit poor people and that's one of the reasons why college and tuition probably won't ever be free, is because they won't be able to use that as leverage for people to join the military and things like that. So
that's fair. That's fair. What are the other ones on your list?
This one is an asterisk mark. Athletes, especially ones with chances of CTE.
You love athletes.
Yeah, I know. But like I've also lived with a ex-professional athlete that had CTE, and like more than likely I will like that is something that I just can't do. Like I've seen it firsthand. Like I've lived it. It's scary. It's uncomfortable.
Can you break down what CTE is?
I don't know the full term, but like i.e. This is coming, like it says, the asterisk mark. We'll just Google it. Chronic traumatic endocephalom. Okay, pronunciation. Because y'all was never hooked on phonics.
Encephalopathy.
Chronic traumatic.
Encephalopathy.
Okay, and what does that mean?
It's like traumatic brain injuries.
Oh,
so it's like repeated blows to the head. So that is things like football, boxing, things of that nature. Even, cheerleading. I know that's a lot one for CTE. Gymnastics. Those. So, but
she loves an athlete. Like,
I
she's
do.
talking all this shit.
I do.
She loves an athlete.
I do. But like I said, that's why there's an asterisk mark beside it. But that CTE stuff is real. And like, I'm not like, if I feel like if you smell like you might have it, I can't fade. I can't hold you.
What's number 3?
Okay, so police, when that falls, I mean like all types of police, in military, it's 1, athletes 2. Oh, I don't know why this. Forex niggas. Self-entrepreneur Atlanta motherfuckers.
Are you interested in a business opportunity?
Niggas with a podcast.
Men with mics.
But I mean, Not that they would be wanted or interested in me. So, but
Well,
I
girl,
guess
you're
I really
submissive enough.
that part. I'm a brat. I'm not a sub.
I don't think we've ever had that conversation either. Like, I think that conversation would be interesting to have
What?
with someone else. Like, what you like? Would you be okay with being a sub or like a switch or like just the differences?
Well, I think you just gotta know. Like, I personally am a big fan of like the cat and mouse. I like the chase, and that's something that I enjoy. But a lot of people, I feel like, take that as like games, in the
'Cause
sense,
it is a game,
but like not in the sense of like this could be
a fun game.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
Like they don't, and then but like a lot of people just don't know. And like I said, it's not for me. Oh, duh, that was part of the shit that came through my phone. The nigga that wanted me to be a sub. He was gonna pay me for my braces. He's like, "You not thinking like this is easy money." Yeah, I know.
Okay, all right.
It didn't work because I was like, he was like, you're under a 24-hour. You gotta do everything I say from this time to this time, and if you pass that, then we'll discuss other things. And I couldn't make it past like 30 minutes. I was like, truly, honestly, it's not for me.
So I'm finding I really like direction. Like, oh my god, I really like direction. Now that doesn't mean I'm always going to say yes. Like, I may say no just to be quote unquote punished, but I
See,
do
because
like,
you're a brat. You're a brat too. Yeah.
Most definitely. I will explain the T-Mobile one because that is highly specific. So I went with my friend to a T-Mobile store because she needed to get her phone fixed and she needed someone with an ID or a card or something. Basically, she just asked me to go with her. I went with her. So I noticed that the manager was my type. I'm looking, I'm like, I'm scoping out. I can go to be cute or nothing, but I was cute.
Period.
So I go and I'm like, the manager is kind of my type. I mean, we kind of like looking back and forth. And I'm like, I wonder if that's going to be the person that's going to help her. And it was.
He made it that way.
And it was. So she's getting her phone fixed or whatever. And me and her having a conversation. She's with one of her male friends. And we're all having a conversation. He inserts himself into the conversation and mentions that he has a kid. Now, for me, y'all, we talked about it. I think it was episode 4 about how we are getting older, but I'm just not at that place where I want to date somebody who has a kid. But I do appreciate someone who will mention their kid without me having to ask, or who will mention their kid without, and it didn't sound like a chore. It sounded like, oh yeah, my son,
Oh, boy, dad.
or my kid. I don't know. He said something where it felt affectionate or it sounded affectionate.
That's good.
Yeah. So that was cute to me. That was, some slight. So we're talking, and then she finishes what she's got to do, and I ask about an Apple Watch. Or I say something to the effect of, my T-Mobile bill is kind of high, and he offers to, look at it to see if he can get, some discounts. And I'm like, okay, that's a green flag. And then I'm thinking, I could get an Apple Watch. I've been looking at one for a minute. Maybe I can get a real good deal. He said there's a good deal going on right now. I didn't end up getting the watch.
The real deal was dick. He said it was a great
I
deal.
did not end up getting the watch. However, he said something like, when you do get the watch when you're ready, don't do it online. Like, come back to the store. And I was like, this is not close to me. This is a bop. I'm not coming all the way back out here. And he was like, okay, well, maybe I can drop it off and we can go get something to eat after. And I was like, okay. I mean, I like that deal. So I ended up getting my friend free Wi-Fi for her house.
Oh.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, let me work just a little bit. I'm gonna get a nice Apple Watch deal delivered to me. She can get free Wi-Fi. We can be all good, right? So the date that we were supposed to go on, we were supposed to go get food. I think it was like tacos or something. It was Tuesday. He asked me when I would be free, and I was like, around 8. And then he asked me when would be the latest time. And I say 10. And I mean 10 as in I want to be getting home by 10, because if I'm going out around 8, there's no need for me to be out all night. I don't plan on going over your house, because if I go over your house or you come over mine, my plan is to smash. Why am I inviting someone over or vice versa without doing that? That makes no sense to me. It's 9 or 8:40, 9 o'clock. He's asking me, I'm getting ready because I said 8. Now I was running a little late, but it was 8:40. He was like, what you doing? And I look at my phone and I'm like, is this Negro serious? What do you mean what I'm doing? I'm getting ready. And he FaceTimes me at like 9:10 or 9:15 or something, and he's in bed. And I'm like, and I think I call you at this point. Like, I call you right before. I'm like, okay, I'm trying not to get mad, but like, what was the reason? What was the reason? So FaceTimes me. He's in bed. He's like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and hop in the shower. Did not hop in the shower, but when he FaceTimed me, I answered, and I was cute. Like, I was like, I'm going to go out to eat, like regardless, like either way. So I told him I was going to go out with my friend because I figured you FaceTiming me in bed. I figured it's not about to happen. I'm making other plans. He's like, oh, well, I guess it's just fuck me, huh? And I'm like, well, I mean, kind of. I don't know what else you want me to do. And we didn't talk after that night. And he worked at T-Mobile. And he was 24. And then I was like, that makes sense as to why you thought this was okay. So T-Mobile associates. It's a no.
It's just T-Mobile?
Currently.
Oh, my God.
Currently. All right, so we're going to go ahead and move into our story time today, which is really just something that is long overdue. We're going to be talking about Insecure, you know, the show that has made I can't even, like, describe it, like, the impact that the show has just had in general on people of a certain age group. But how would you describe it?
I feel like Insecure just describes the awkward 20s and the growing pains that go along with that, and like being too old not to figure it out, but you really haven't figured it out yet. And what is it?
That's a very good way to put it.
And it's like trying to understand, like, I don't say the meaning of life, but like,
what are we doing?
How to enjoy life, but also like make money, do what you love, the balancing act of it all, the tightrope, the juggling that all encompasses it. Definitely. And the woes that happen in friendships and relationships.
Definitely. So it started in 2016. I actually did not watch the first season when it first came out. I didn't hear about it until season 2. And then I just went back to watch it. But I think you watched season 1. No?
I think I started.
We may have started around the same time.
I think I just started with season 2, and I've seen episode 1 or a few episodes.
Really?
I feel like I don't think I've. Oh, let me say this. I seen season 1. I don't think I finished season 1. I just picked up at season 2.
Oh, that's really interesting. Okay, I feel like season 1 was the best, to be honest. I feel like
I don't know.
I feel like I always feel like season 1's are the best because it's new, it's different.
I don't know. 'Cause I'm trying to think of what season I really thoroughly enjoyed. I feel like there were moments that I felt like were really funny. Like certain seasons were filler, like 3 and 4.
I don't know if 4 was filler. 4 was cringe.
3 was filler though.
3 was filler.
3 had funny parts though.
Yes,
Kelly
3 was
and 3
filler, but
was
I
amazing.
feel like 2 advanced the story. So 1 was good, very good foundation. 2 advanced the story. 3 was definitely filler with some funny. 4 was cringe. 4 got a little real. That 4 is with like that female friendship, like
I think
the
that
real conversation pieces.
Not even conversation. I think that it showed like the real part of the show wasn't even about the soulmates.
Yeah.
It was about a different relationship and how they're also soulmates to me.
Yeah.
And then the last season, I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know. They did a lot.
Anticlimactic.
They did a lot, but like
you didn't like it. Well, let's back it up. So it started in 2016. Where were you in 2016? What were you doing? Who was Carson?
Probably a hot mess.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. It was Chanel.
Same. We had just turned 20. I know I was a hot mess.
Yeah, let's think of the time when we turned 20. Wasn't that when we went out and then taking a damage ID? What about my CD?
Go ahead and refer to RIP house parties for that story. When Carson turned 20 along with our friend Esteban.
I also feel like, if I'm not mistaken, I had a lot of trauma in that year in 2016.
That's possible.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was assault. So it was a hot mess, literally, figuratively. Because that was the Anti-album, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in Consideration, I play that song a lot. And to the point where, like, I hear it now, I like damn near cry. Because, like,
oof. No, that was
Trauma.
Definitely an interesting year.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. I had some of my craziest moments during that year.
We did a lot of shit that summer too.
We did.
And I think that was a part of the hypersexuality that happens after like sexual trauma.
Yeah. That would make sense.
But I mean, I don't even know if I was really fucking like that. But I was trying.
2016? I think so.
Who? I don't know.
2016 was the summer we both started POF, but it was also the summer.
Oh, so that's when we met the drug dealer. That's when I met the drug dealer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, that's a lot. That year was traumatic.
I feel like 2016, I remember having a conversation where it's like one of us has to ask $20 in their Uber account or $20 to call the other friend the Uber.
Yeah.
That was a wild year.
Yeah. That's when you were like stuck in VA. Oh gosh.
Yes.
That,
I think we told that story, didn't we?
that's a lot. Just thinking about all the things that you named are very traumatic things. That's when I realized Chanel was a big pussy girl. She had a nigga come pick her up from a house. And then got mad at that nigga and had the original nigga come pick her up from his house.
And he did it.
That's what I'm saying. Big pussy gal.
And it was in Norfolk. It was a whole thunderstorm outside. And I had tore off this nigga's windshield wipers a few months before. So he came with his, like, I don't even know how he made it. I don't even know how he made it back. Whew, that was wild. That was a really crazy and wild summer. Wild year, just in general. Oh my gosh.
Like I was trying to tell you, is if I am remembering right, and also another thing that I think happens too, trauma makes you forget.
Yeah.
Cause like
yeah,
I was trying to recall. Oh, that was that year. That a lot happened.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. So there was a lot going on in 2016. Maybe that's why we weren't watching season 1. But
yeah. Also, we probably didn't have HBO.
That is true. Because at first I was watching on 1, 2, 3 movies faithfully, waiting for it to come out and the next day watching it because that's how it works. But let's go ahead and talk about the top 3 things that, really stood out in Insecure. Number 1, the female friendship dynamics. So we were discussing 4 seems to be the quintessential number on TV for strong friendships and strong bonds. And it usually is you can tell it's
strong,
people,
but that's the archetype of when they write shows centered around women. There's a 4 set.
4 is also a pretty good number to get different personality traits in.
That's probably the real.
Yeah, just writing characters wise, you gotta have someone who's more the mother type, someone who's more the wild type. It's kind of hard to have all those without at least 4 people.
Yeah, because most shows center around women that have more than one person. There's 4. Yeah, damn. I'm going down the list, white and black.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like that's not realistic in real life?
I don't know. I really don't know. I feel like the one movie that I feel like doesn't get enough credit about really tackling, and I don't think you've seen it, female friendship, especially in high school, Jennifer's Body.
Oh no, I haven't seen it, but you said it was good.
Yeah, and I think that it wasn't marketed well because it had Megan Fox in it, and they were saying Megan Fox is hot. We don't have to really market the movie, and the movie's about friendships and girls and being in that age where you're how toxic sometimes friendships between 2 girls are, and it was talking about power dynamics and how some people use them to push. It's one of those things where when you rewatch it, it's actually really good. But granted, it has that mid-2000s filter just all over it, punk rock, white. You got to watch it with a grain of salt.
True. Okay.
But I do think that Insecur-A-Tea did a better job of, not all of them, but really fleshing out people.
Yes, definitely. Even the characters who are quote unquote side characters either had an episode where it was just about them, or they had moments where half the episode was about them and their storyline and getting to know who they were a little bit better. Yeah. When it comes to female friendships, I'm trying to figure out what was the problem with Issa and Molly, because I feel like it wasn't one specific thing. I feel like
it was just the woes that happen when you've been friends with somebody for so long and you're in different spaces in your life. Mm-hmm. With somebody that's a little more put together, they have the air of I'm the one that's more put together. and as somebody's trying to figure it out, and as those two like this, I think they had a certain dynamic for a while, and then that dynamic started to switch. People then became in relationships that weren't normally in relationships, so then their priorities changed, and then other people who had been in weren't. So like that's another
just so changes.
Yeah.
I feel like Molly could handle being the more put together friend. I think she liked it, honestly.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and when Issa started to have a little bit more with her and a little bit more put together, it was like Molly really just...
I don't even know if... I think that she was exploring also a new relationship, and I think that that was a space she really hadn't been in. Right. And so I feel like that was probably an insecurity for her. She's like, I really want to protect this precious egg, so I might take focus off of other things that might get in the way of me protecting this precious egg. Because the real fallout was because she felt like you went behind my back and asked him to do a favor.
I was about to ask that. Do you feel like that was wrong? Like, who do you think was wrong?
I feel like I could see both sides in the sense. I do think, to me, like, her reaction, especially because he was like, it wasn't that big of a deal. It's an email. But I can also understand, like, certain things aren't even, like, the actions, like the principle. If I making this request, like, hey, this relationship means something to me, I really don't want to blur those lines.
To me, it didn't sound like going behind her back. It sounded like, I have to get this done with or without you.
Yeah.
This is a connect. Just because he's your boyfriend doesn't mean I can't use him as a connect.
Yeah, but
I'm not going to ask you to, like, I'm going to ask my friend, like, Nathan is my connect.
Yeah.
And Nathan knows him outside of you.
That is true.
But I can understand the way it looks.
And I feel like if you were to, I feel like a lot of times we're looking at it through Issa's lens, but you try to look at it through Molly's lens, and the idea of like, you don't seem like you're respecting this relationship, and like you kind of.
But where do friendships fall? Because you've been friends with Issa for 10 years. Yeah. You met this man, you didn't like him.
She's not getting
first.
dick from Issa.
Like, yeah, but like you met this
man. And this is interesting. Coming from this hoe here, that you feel like so you're saying at that point you would put your female friendship before your relationship.
I'm saying it's not an issue to ask for an email.
Well, I mean, but if this is what it boils down to her, do you feel like at that position, that's what it seemed like, right? That she was saying it's my relationship or our friendship.
I don't think it had to be that deep.
But do you feel like she felt that way?
Which one? Molly?
Yes.
I feel like she felt that way because she dramatizes everything.
And if that's her personality, right? So if you felt that way,
then no. I'm saying that I can see it from both sides. I just feel like it's never that deep. And maybe that's my problem. I just don't think like it's not that deep.
And I think that is also
like that's very much a part of my personality.
Crux
though.
of
like,
you're just kind of like it is what it is.
It is what it is.
And you don't. I do think sometimes you don't think of how other people handle things differently.
That is true.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah,
I don't.
Because you assume
like
everybody thinks.
I do assume a lot of people think like me. I guess when I think of decisions, I take emotion out of it. Like,
or you take
did the thing get done or not? Yeah,
and but in life, you have emotions for a reason, and people are emotional. But I think that I don't even say you take emotions out. You would take what you assume others or your emotions would be. But there's things if they were to be done to you, you wouldn't like it.
I need an example of that one.
Oh, we'll have this come back.
All right, girl.
Next.
I personally feel like she blew out of proportion. But I guess my thing is with Molly in particular, she just felt miserable the whole season. And I think Issa made a very good point. Like, if you don't work out, you cannot blame anyone. Like, you can't blame everyone else. Because I also think Molly has a issue with avoiding accountability. But she thinks Issa does. And I'm like, one thing Issa's going to do is say, I messed up. Molly isn't going to do that. Molly's going to say, oh, well, this relationship didn't work because he was this. He was that. I couldn't do it. Like, it's always somebody else. And I feel like that's a recipe to be miserable when you can never take accountability for your own actions and you always think of somebody else. But I thought it was a really good look at friendships up and down. It was a little cringy to watch, especially since I feel like most people know the show because of their friendship.
Yeah, but
Like,
I
that is
think
the
I
base.
think that
That's why they
it was
did
so impactful that
Yeah.
like like shit. Sometimes there are really bad seasons.
Yeah.
What it taught me is like the most important relationship in your life doesn't necessarily have to be the romantic one. Like you can have more than one soulmate. And I know they didn't say that. I know that when we watched the thing afterwards and they talked about it, they said that Issa and Lawrence were soulmates. But to me, the relationship that seemed like they were truly soulmates and really like fuck with each other up and down and all around was Molly and Issa.
Yeah.
They to me seem more like soulmates.
Yeah, I agree. Do you feel like there's another show or another like platform or place that shows female friendships or like black female friendships in that way, either being tested or being talked about? Because
I
work
feel
in
like
education. I work with middle school specifically, and they don't know how to be friends with each other. And I'm thinking, when do you learn that?
you really don't like.
You don't.
And then I think that also like you talk about the number 4 within girl friendships. The worst number though, and we all know this,
3.
is 3, especially with young girls.
Yeah,
That is like.
recipe for disaster.
But I think another show that I just think is pretty great, but this is Insecure to me. What had funny moments, but I don't know if it was a funny show.
I feel like it was at first. You didn't watch season 1. Season 1 was pretty funny.
I mean, I rewatched it.
Season 3. Oh, I said you didn't watch it, but season 3 was funny, but the rest of it was drama.
Yeah, so I wouldn't consider it a comedy.
Dramedy.
So the show that I felt like did touch on different relationships and some of the complexities of it, but this was a comedy, so I don't know if it was taken in the sense of like, wow, this is deep. Living single
That's very true.
in a 90s kind of world. I'm glad I got
That's very true.
my
I feel
girl.
like that show does not get as many flowers as it deserves.
It's
And
amazing.
It was funny.
It
was
has just-
thoughtful.
It had so many layers. It talked about just different things in general. Most of the people on the show were successful. The cast was great. Their chemistry was amazing. Like I said,
Everyone had fleshed out moments. Everyone had an episode or multiple episodes. They had things that came together. But you're right. It was a comedy, and usually comedies aren't taken as seriously when it comes.
yeah,
to
but
literary
you think
work.
of how even they're interacted in the shows, and they had moments where they didn't always do well within their friendship. But of course, it being a sitcom is wrapped up within an episode. But still,
Yeah. Who do you think was the better friend in general in that show?
Sinclair.
I feel like you would say that. I'm not saying you're wrong.
Who
I'm
do you
just
feel like he was the
saying,
best friend or the better friend?
Honestly, I think they all kind of had moments where they were just like,
Yeah, I'm saying you made me pick one. You got to pick one. I'm not saying she was the best person. I'm saying
Max.
if you feel like Max was the best friend,
I feel like Max.
this is actually quite telling too.
yeah. It is.
Yeah, it is, and how
It
we
is.
view our
We
relationships
are- I feel like we're
yeah,
you're
no,
more
that
of
makes
if
a
you
lot
like
of
it, if I would say Khadijah, but I feel like you would expect me to say Khadijah.
No.
But no. I would
no.
say
I Max
feel like
makes
Max
a lot
is
of sense
very-
for you too and your personality.
How about we explain
Mm.
then why each
Ooh.
one makes sense? Y'all,
Ooh.
this hoe is so passive aggressive. Like,
yeah.
Carson, why don't you just ever say what's on your mind, bruh? I don't understand. And I be trying to understand. But Carson would rather sit there silent than say anything that she's upset about. Or has
I don't even know if
with.
it's upset about what I'm trying to do. Right? It's like what you said. You take your emotions out of the issue. If I haven't said anything, it's because I haven't been able to take my
Verbalize.
emotions out of the issue.
But that's the way I communicate. But because I know you as a friend, I know that's not the way that you communicate. So when
So
I'm
if I know
listening
that's
to
how you communicate as your friend, wouldn't I try to communicate in the way that you communicate?
All right, we'll have to have this conversation separately, obviously. But I feel like with Max, it's like you can get a lot of different layers. She'll be the supportive friend. She'll also be the friend who will tell you, like, that wasn't it. She's also, like, provides commentary along the way. Why did you choose Sinclair?
Because like as like a true friendship in the sense of like giving and being, nice and like enjoying and supporting people, I felt like she did all of that equally to everybody.
That's fair.
Yeah, but that is perfect. That's honestly, wow, third eye opened. But yeah, I think that show did a pretty good job of, doing complexities of women friendship and it also being funny.
Very much so. I agree. All right, so next, from female friendships, we get into the like relationship growth and dating woes. Now, I'm someone who believes right person, wrong time. Like I totally believe that. I was rooting for Lawrence and Issa when everyone else was not.
I wasn't really,
I
and I feel like
personally
that's
was.
why I feel like the show to me at the end fell a little flat. Like,
Well, okay, well, what would you rather have happened?
I don't feel like they should have gotten back together, and I know a lot of people like that because they like Hollywood endings,
Yeah.
but like
You
I
don't
feel
think
like,
that would actually happen.
and I think that's okay.
Yeah.
But I think that people like I feel like that was okay because like he had a baby, the other like I just feel like there was a lot of other factors that they kind of like
Skipped over because he said I love you.
yeah, and like
That's a fair critique.
and he wasn't shit for a while, and it wasn't even outside of like even when he had more of his stuff together.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really see it for him. And I know Issa's not perfect, but I don't know. I feel like they wanted that to be the ending, and I feel like because of that, a lot of other people were done dirty. And that might be the part that is truly real life. And I feel like after I saw how she treated Nathan, I was like, they really truly deserve each other. For real. Honestly. But I don't know.
I didn't see it for Nathan. I personally like the way that Nathan made her feel, but I don't think they were a good match romantically to me.
I mean,
I thought they were a pretty good friendship match. Like he inspired her. And that's something that you want in a mate, but he also made her feel even more insecure about what they were doing, about where they were going. He was a flighty person.
And
she was
get
a
that.
flighty person. And they both
So I mean, I just like I said, I hear what you're saying and it makes sense. I don't know. I just felt like I didn't like that ending. Were you satisfied with them since you were rooting for Lawrence?
I was, but it was because I was rooting for Lawrence from the beginning. I was rooting for Lawrence, like, for them to get back together before he had the baby.
Okay.
Now, I know the baby, like, because I wouldn't have done it. So, I know the baby is definitely like a fork in the road, but
so
to me,
after,
I feel like at a certain point, we going to have to, like, that actually could be real life. In
No,
general,
it could.
That, like,
It
not
could.
a perfect situation, and we have to get out of the idea of, oh, well, this wasn't a perfect relationship, so, and I'm not even talking about struggle love. I'm just like, this wasn't a perfect relationship, so throw it away.
I hear what you're saying, but like, it wasn't perfect, and it's not going to be perfect. But like, could it be good? Can we settle for decent? And if you felt like I don't know, I didn't really see it for him.
Okay. What about, well, Daniel obviously was just,
I was like, go
he ain't
Issa,
even in the conversation.
go Issa. That's all that is.
Yeah, go Issa for real. Go Issa for real. I really thought that it was interesting to me that they really did a deep dive in what it was like to be in a, like, she went through all phases. I feel like all of them, all the four friends went through all phases of relationships, of dating, of being single.
Well, I mean, potentially, we didn't really see Tiffany before her and her man. Like, I don't remember. Like, they were married. Weren't they been married most of the show?
Yeah. So she's the married friend.
But you're saying you don't, like, you saw that they had maybe some marital. Well,
They
but
had some marital issues.
but
and
I'm
it
just-
would have been nice for them to flesh it out.
that's all I'm saying. I feel like
it
that
would've
wasn't
been.
the
But I'm
most
saying, like,
fleshed
they
out.
had, like, within the four, they had the different characteristics. Like, Issa was someone who was maybe, like, almost close to marriage, like, in a long relationship. Now she's not. Now she's single. Molly's someone who's
chronically single.
Is chronically single. And, like, but really wants to be in a, like, desired relationship. And Kelly is just, I do what I want.
Period.
Maybe a relationship, maybe not. And she's the one who ends up pregnant at the end. And Tiffany is the married friend. And I like how they went through.
How did you feel about? I'm sorry to cut you off. Molly and Torian, whatever his name.
I like them together, but I think I like them together because he allows her to relax. And as someone who, I was definitely a Molly fan before she was miserable. I just don't like miserable people. But she's someone who needs someone to tell her to relax. Who needs someone, like someone who's so put together on the outside, but inside is clearly like broken and crying and just in need of someone just to just be there.
I will say the scene where Dro was there and they were high off edibles, and she
And
explained
he
their
was
whole,
like,
that makes sense to me. And I was
Yeah.
like, yo, like
yes, go best friend. Like,
I was like, I get it.
yeah, like I really.
But
like
I
that.
feel like, yo, like
no, that was a lot.
that was funny as shit. Like,
That
yo,
was a
imagine
lot.
you just being
That,
the third
as someone
person.
who
Hey, you
has
just-
done edibles. That sounds about right to me. Word
But just-
vomit and then just like, yeah, okay.
But just imagine you the person that's just looking at these high motherfuckers and just run down your whole shit. And then the motherfucker be like, nah, I get it. That was pretty cut and dry to me.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
that's cool. But they went through like the whole dating app phase and how those can be wild with
Incredible.
both of them, with both Molly and Issa. Molly being someone who's chronically single, and Issa being someone who hasn't dated in a while.
I hated that haircut though, but
Who Molly's?
yeah.
I wasn't feeling it either.
I just
But
think it was just a
feel
little
like
harsh.
It was Yvonne. I don't feel like she did that for the show.
No,
feel
I know.
like-
I just think that it was just you can't get the shape up. That's just a little harsh on a female's face, personally. But
True. But yeah, I feel like it really shone a light on relationship growth, like the different stages, the downs, and I really enjoyed the show. I was like, I gotta find a replacement, but I don't think there ever will be one. I don't think there ever will be a replacement. And we did touch on how the third thing we want to talk about was how it's basically like a 2010 version of Girlfriends.
a better written with an ending.
Yeah, but they didn't get an ending but they did 8 seasons. But
Yeah.
they didn't get an ending because the writers went on strike that year.
Yeah.
So they just stopped. But I mean, Sex and the City has like 2 or 3 movies. So it can be done. I guess no one in Hollywood is just trying to fight for it. But I feel like that would be dope to have a Girlfriend's like 20 years. Because I think it's been about.
It was
been
an early
over 20
2000s
years.
show. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been over 20 years since it started. So I think that'd be really dope.
Like a movie. What
Yeah.
do you? Okay, you want a movie?
Like a special.
A special. Okay.
Like a 3-part special.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just felt like certain things. Tony in that last wig she had on, criminal, lock them up. Marrying the short broke doctor, lock it up.
I feel like he was broke because of her.
Nah, I mean he the wedding was above his means, and you shouldn't have done that.
But while he was courting her, he spent a lot of money.
But
that
like,
he did not have. And I'm not saying it's her fault, but I'm just saying like he
So,
went
so
broke
you're-
trying to get her.
so it's her fault.
No, I'm not saying that.
So then, what do you?
I'm saying like he. What I'm saying is he wasn't broke before he met her. Is what I'm saying. That's it.
But he had a lot of student loan. Like I feel like it was he wasn't.
Yeah, but like to categorize him as the broke doctor, like obviously he wasn't that broke. Like he was courting her as if he wasn't. Like he had money, he just spent it on her. I'm not like to call him the broke doctor. Like he's short, yes, he was white, yes, but like broke wasn't necessarily a part of his story or his adjective until
Okay.
he started
Okay.
going broke.
And when did he
man.
start going broke within their relationship? Was it the beginning stages?
I feel like it was more like an add-on, and the wedding just took it over the top. They rented
So-
a house. It was a crazy expensive wedding. I feel like you think I'm blaming her, and
I'm not
just
blaming her. I'm just
I don't
saying
think that's
that
a
nigga was
fair adjective.
okay. All right, you got it.
Okay, and then the end of Insecure obviously was December 2021. So
And this is March 2022.
yeah, a little late, but it's okay. Feelings or reactions after the season ended, or after
I
the
feel like we
series ended.
kind of touched on it.
Yeah, but there's like one scene in particular that like really set all of kind of social media ablaze, and it was I guess it came out that the last conversation that they had like at Molly's wedding was a real heart-to-heart conversation, like it was off script, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
And then the ending where they literally circled back and like tied up every loose storyline, I thought that was really cute.
Yeah. And I feel like my favorite part was at the ending. That's when like they called each other, and that signified the show that was the
It
insecure
was
part.
about them.
Yeah, and I really liked that.
Yeah, definitely. So that show was about a 5-year span. So it started when we were 20. We're 25 now. Where do you hope to be at 30? 2026?
I don't know. Put together, happy. Let's start with let's go very simple. Happy and secure. You?
I feel like I want happy and security, of course, but like just the freedom to move how I want to move.
You're missing. What do you really want to happen by 30?
I feel like there's a specific answer that you're looking for.
Yeah, because you've said it. Didn't you give yourself a 2.5 year to be?
No, what I said was that I'm hiring a matchmaker at 28 if I'm still single.
So then by 30, you expect.
By 30, I hope to be like ready to start a family, if not like starting one.
Yeah. That's the big part. I mean,
it's the big one, but for me, I guess if it seems far away, because honestly, 5 years ago seems like forever ago. When I'm thinking about 2016, 2017, it seems forever ago. Like I can't even picture going through a day what it would look like in 2017 for me, like in this stage.
Okay.
I guess the years don't feel like 2020 and 2021 seem like a blur. They all seem mashed together, but before that, it seemed like some long years. I guess I'm looking at 30 like I got some time, and I'm not in a super big rush. It's just I don't want to play as time goes on.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be more urgent, more in a rush as time goes on. But is there anyone that you are blocking?
Oh, that dominant nigga, I blocked him after that from my phone and Snapchat. But I know he didn't even send the money, so. But that's all.
I'm blocking T-Mobile Associates.
All of them. What's your cell phone provider?
I'm blocking T-Mobile Associates who are 24, with one kid, who play with people's time.
Okay. What about other niggas that play with your time?
Just don't respond. I think I responded back to him, but in general, I think what really pisses me off, and this is just like a future note for any nigga like trying to talk to me or any nigga in my past who's wondering why I don't hit them up anymore. I hate when people ask me for my time to waste it. Like, it's so annoying to me. Because you could have left me alone. I could have been doing something else. But I think that's it.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. We'll see you next time.
That's why you're blocked.